Vicky, how did you feel before taking the implicit bias test?
Well, when I saw that it had to do with political bias and people's political opinions, I got a little nervous that it would reveal some sort of deeply rooted bias that I had that I've only learned to just cover up really well. So my palms got really sweaty when I started to type this.
Micah, how did you feel before taking the test?
I didn't know what to think because I was kind of eager to see, if I had any biases that I didn't know about. I ended up taking a test where there were two mythical type people, like the Lanifs and like the Napads or something like that, and it was really weird. But so I didn't really know what to expect because I was like, what's going on here? But they told me to like prefer one group over the other, and that to reflect that in my answers. So I guess I was just taking it, not really kind of confused about what it was going to show, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
So Jackie, how did you feel before taking the implicit bias test?
Well, I had heard about it at one of the RA training events, so they showed a video clip about it, and I was kind of interested to see what my results were because I saw that some other people had taken it and it showed that they had like huge biases, so I was a little bit worried. But so I just went home and took it kind of, a little bit curious and a little bit like, skeptical, I guess, because I was like, can this really show if I have bias or not? And so yeah, that's how I felt.
Okay, Vicky, what exactly was your test like?
Well, it gave you a series of words following a series of pictures of politicians, and then it asked you to describe whether the words were good or bad. So for example, it flashed a picture of John McCain, and then it flashed the word glee, and I had to decide whether the word glee was a positive word or a negative word.
What exactly was your test like?
So like I said, I had those two mythical people, and they told me to think of one group as positive and think of one group as negative, and then try to answer my questions like that. So then they would give me other words that I had to relate to either being good or bad. So they would give something like horrible, and that would be like, of course, a bad word. And then they told me to flip my bias to try to make it so that I thought the other group was better now, and then to try to answer the questions according to that. So, yeah.
What exactly was the test like?
So the test I took was a test about bias towards gender. So what they would do is show a picture of a woman and a man, or a woman or a man, and then have words like either career related or home related. So they would have words like office and and then they would have words like home and baby. So you were supposed to put them in the category that they were associated with without regards to whether or not the picture was a man or a woman.
So what were your results, and how do you feel about your biases now?
Well, I was a little relieved because the test results showed that I had no implicit bias about Republican or Democratic ideology. So that was pretty exciting. I was really relieved about that. I think it would be interesting, though, and I would wonder if my answers would change if I had taken an implicit bias test that dealt with gender or race, because I feel those are things that are a little bit more deeply rooted, a little bit more implicit. I couldn't think of another word.
So what were your results, and how do you feel about your biases now?
So the group, the Lanifs, or whatever, they told me to prefer them over the other group, and during that test they said that I ended up having a bias towards the group that I was not supposed to prefer, which was kind of interesting. And then when they told me to flip it, I had no bias. So that was, I don't really know what it meant for me, but I guess it was some type of, I was like trying to go against what they told me to do. And I do wish that I had a test about maybe like gender or race, or different things that I could apply to like in my everyday life, just to see if I had any hidden bias there. But I think I'm definitely gonna like go back and try a different test and see what happens.
So Jackie, what were your results and how do you feel about them?
So my results showed that I had a slight bias towards a masculinized world, so I associated more of the office, career type words with men and more of the baby house type words with women. So I was kind of surprised. I never actually thought that this was a bias that I had. I mean, I'm a woman. I feel like I'm pretty strong in my opinions, and I don't, I'm career oriented. So it was surprising to me that I had these biases hidden deep down, but still very interesting to see that even though I have these biases, I can overcome them in a way by knowing that I have them and knowing to look out for them in the future.
Thanks.